IG. Chanter in that unit for the side of EDG. Chips it down. Some strong lanes across the board on both sides. This can flip very hard, very early across the map.
Well, Cannon still on cooldown, but IG feel emboldened to maybe go for another 4v4 fight if they can. Again, still no summoners on the EDG bot side, which means they know that there's just not really much contest to really come out. Dragon will reset. They are still kind of pushing them in. Yeah, a bit of a scared Yuumi too, as Fofo and JJ starting to move themselves in. There's the Glacial Prison coming down onto Wink though. They're going to drop down the ultimate to try and catch out UZI. There's going to be the final chapter to see if they can just disengage a little bit. Fofo taking out the Annie and almost, yes, getting a flash over and getting the first blood. That is 11, nearly 12 minutes before we got it, but EDG, they hold firm and they punish in over-aggressive IG. Little moment there, but let's have a look at the replay again, because JJ just kind of walks forward. IG don't really respect the fact that he could just, again, just throw everything at him.
You don't have the Gangplank ult. That would have helped in this kind of situation. You can see that Wink and Beishang, their entire jobs is, let's just stop this Aphelios doing damage to our own carries. But at this point, the Annie has used most of their cooldowns. You don't have Zeri in a great position to damage Fofo either. IG, I feel like this is just a little bit bold when you...
The person you give it to, now it's down to a flat 20. So you get 20% straight away. And now On getting jumped on here, but should be able to skate himself right back over the wall. Does exactly that. Fofo just covering himself very, very nicely. Beishang gets hit by the Glacial Prison, but not going to lead to anything else. This is just a lot of posturing. No one really fully committing right now. And with Dragon up and you've lost that Glacial Fish, that's a pretty big pick tool no longer available to EDG.
And again, IG very happy to sit here and say, okay, we still have the Cannon Barrage, we can play around that, and now they commit to the fight.
Here we go, the Moonlight Vigil is decent. A flash away as the lightning crash comes down. They're going to try to jump everything onto UZI, who's kiting this fight out very well. Still has flash. Maybe he wants to try and go for this. There is the Cannon Barrage that you mentioned. There's so many low health bars right now, and they found their man. The President has been taken out, and his cat as well. There's going to be Fofo trying to turn this back in a fight, as Olive finds himself a kill onto the Zeri, gets himself a little bit of a healing from the Grand Challenge. Now Beishang coming in, so low, but keeps himself alive. Nicely done there by IG. It ends up being a 3-for-2 trade in favor of Invictus Gaming.
Find themselves a very important victory. This is going to get themselves a Dragon. It's going to get themselves to the point where they can maybe stall out a little bit more, even if EDG want to play around a solid win condition later into the game. The fight is very back and forth in itself, though. Looking back at this, you do have a great Moonlight Vigil coming in from UZI to chunk down these HB bars. Gets out of the way of a potential Nautilus hook because he hides behind the terrain, still in DPS range. It's good positioning from UZI at the start of it until the Cannon Barrage comes in. That's when the positioning becomes a little bit suspect. The rest of his team can't hold that choke point and allow him to stand behind that terrain. He goes down, IG run over the fight.
Was close until it wasn't. So many low health bars there. You can see that when coming in at the end, though, was enough to kind of... It starts to get very difficult for anyone to really try and just pressure a side lane. He can be at a fight, as we've mentioned so many times, without being at a fight.
For sure, and when he does eventually arrive there, again, have to keep mentioning, 3 melees on the top side for EDG. Great the early game. Wen has himself the cleanse.
He has the cleanse and the flash, and they're going to try and fully commit onto this one here, but it's a 4v3. There's JJ flashing over the wall. Fofo in a little bit of trouble as well. They've got UZI and Mako trying to come in on the back side of this one here, but there's damage already being put down. The lightning crash from On forces JJ away. You can see them maybe going over the wall. Whoa! On looking to try and put down some work, but he's got a little bit too far forward, and UZI says, "You cannot step to me." That's going to be a kill going over there as On gets a little bit too antsy just before this Dragon fight. Oh, UZI.
He's probably going
to have the flash.
Away.
He's going to have the flash. He's holding it. He's holding it. He's holding it because he's got so much damage. That is nerves of steel from UZI right there, knowing exactly what he can and can't do, knowing that he didn't have the flash, and everyone from IG just had to scamper away.
That is just such a certified UZI moment. I'm sure we'll see a couple of them in the games to come, but UZI, I was thinking, he's surely got to flash away to that bot lane. Aesthetic choices as well. This was slightly less aesthetic a start to the fight from EDG because you're throwing your CC onto the target with the cleanse. Yes, you get rid of that flash, and you're walking straight into the barrels and straight into that ultimate. It's a very dangerous situation. The Gangplank ultimate probably should have been focused a little bit further back. Feels like it didn't get huge value out of it. And look, not gonna lie to you folks, I appreciate the boldness. There's a difference between boldness and insanity. Arn throws his life away. Even if you kill the enemy jungler there, you are going to die. That's not worth.
I mean, the fact that he uses the dragon to kind of say, you can't hook me. the whole thing is that Wink would need to flash there to try and get the hook off him. So really smart play there. And this is the thing, the difference between Int and God is a fine line to tread.
That it is. Throwing out the Marco, looking for another engagement.
Holds
it.
Yeah, they're going to look for it. There's going to go top down the Tibbers as well. They're going to see if they can get a good barrel on, but UZI will not be caught out just yet. They do catch out one, so it's the Cassante for none. And IG, they're trading back a huge amount of their health bars right now. They haven't lost anybody, which is important, but it would be difficult for them to turn this into any kind of real objective because, again, look at the health bars on EDG. They lost one, but they kept themselves so healthy.
Walk away with anything but that kill. Of course, this comes in from trying to combo up a couple of different soft engage tools. You didn't have a flash Nautilus ult, you didn't have a flash Tibbers or something like that. It's just the Maokai and the Gangplank ults to try and bring things to bear. UZI just about gets out of that barrel. And even with that, you normally think the AD carry flashing away, he's kind of out of his damage range at that point. He does just enough to keep IG invested in the fight and take down
fairly soon.
It's some first strike goal for Crime, but that's about it. And now without that flash Tibbers available, some of that engaged threat is gone again. EDG are returning once again to this mid lane out of turret. They'd love to get that down. It would give them so many more options to play around the map. Wen is now going to get teleported on into the side lane. Has flash again, has barrels, of course.
He does have barrels, but it wasn't caught out just there. They're going to drop down the cannon barrage, putting a fair bit of damage here on the JJ. Should go down with the grand challenge. Flash for flash, but a shutdown goes over to Ala. TPing in to make sure he gets that kill, and that means the EDG will have control around this dragon side of the river. And that means they should be able to get themselves onto Soul Point. We will see a Hex flash over the ball from Wink, but it's not going to lead to anything else.
Fiora and that mid lane outer turret being down. EDG might be able to play around side lanes a little more now.
Yeah, well, UZI already sticking up to not even 10 CS per minute. We're going to go with 11 CS per minute. Already kind of keeping himself nice and healthy as JJ does have to get himself away from this, but I don't think he can. It's going to be very difficult, and yeah, burnt down, but ooh, that's a lot of damage from the Infernum Moonlight Vigil. Do they want to try and risk this going back in on top of this one again? UZI has knockoff flash, but he's got all the other combat summoners that are Yuumi and him grant to him. Fofo and Ala moving forward here, trying to just be as bit of a nuisance as they possibly can. Wen doesn't have flash. Yeah, just hasn't got the flash, and the damage is not really there to try and turn this one back. Beishong not going to get away from this one just yet. They're going to try and jump in on top of Ala. Wink goes in to try and see if he can stop UZI, but he's just too big. He's got too much damage. And IG, they're falling apart right now. They just can't stand up to this tidal wave of damage that is available for the side of EDG. Nice little helter-skelter over the wall. Beishong getting chased down. UZI wants the kill, but it will be going over to the side of EDG. Beishong almost getting himself out. And UZI's feeling confident. He's feeling good. He's not really tested in these fights.
Gen trying to get some lifesteal. It leaves IG in a very difficult spot where they don't have their damage in the right position. JJ's Arctic Assault over the wall pulls them into a different choke point than the one that IG would love to set up. It brings EDG's damage closer to the fight as well, and that is just an absurd amount of damage. Yeah, the Bloodthirster nowadays, it doesn't give you the overshield, but it does give you a lot of AD when you're at high health, and of course the Yuumi helps you in that regards as well. And at this point, you don't see it in picture right now, but look at the top right of your screen. Zeri just isn't there. Damage too much. Trying to get some regen off of the red buff to claim that one. You can see the red buff regen going after. But that means that Arn isn't there to turn the tables in terms of DPS. And EDG finally get themselves a fight into this very annoying composition to play into of IG.
3-1-3 has got the last whisper as well, so he's going to even do more damage to some of the tankier members, if you could even call them that, on the side of IG. And now with the Baron taken, it's gone to a 3,000 gold lead. IG just can't really find themselves an opportunity. They need to kill the Aphelios. That's the thing. It has to be UZI, and if it's not, then it's just not good enough. Here we go. They're going to throw in a Q, but it's hopeful at best. The cannon barrage comes down while it's happening. Ala on a side lane here with the hull breaker, doing so much to try and just keep the pressure in. That's a huge amount of minions. They're going to lose both these towers if they're not careful. They need to clear one and the other.
Exactly. EDG, they are playing towards this side lane win condition now, and you can tell IG are getting a little desperate, and now they don't have the cannon barrage. What can they do? They're losing on both lanes.
They're losing on both lanes. We're going to see two towers go down. They're going to finally look to try and see if they can get a fight. Fofo using that Gargoyle Stonepipe to keep himself healthy. UZI comes in, and UZI spreads out the damage. They're trying to see if On can get on top of him. He flashes away, and finally gets taken out, but is it all for naught, because Beishong is the only one left alive, and he's being chased down by a cat on a mission. The solo bolo, you could almost call it, from Mako on the cat, and that's going to be game number one going over to EDG.
That's about as close to a Yuumi solo kill you will see in professional play. Is he a cat? Is he a tiger? Predator on that one. Takes down that kill. Takes down the Nexus.
Again, it took a while. It was definitely not a quick, dominating win here from EDG, but once the gears started to shift, once UZI started to get a couple of items.